Okay. Jonathan Drouin for the Habs
Jeez. Oh my
is
God.
expected out until the All-Star break. Joel Armia expected out the All-Star break. Jake Allen is gone for a week. Um, uh, Jake Evans expected out about 8 weeks, and Juraj Slafkovsky is probably done for the whole season. Him and Evans are
So
knee injuries.
so when it with with Slavkovsky in particular, I saw in our group chat that Mike said sorry at him, and out of nowhere, right? And so I'm like, what happened now? And so Mike's, just for context, Mike's been known to, anytime someone gets an injury, it could be 2 weeks, he would just say they're out for the season. But this time, Slavkovsky is literally out for the season.
All I saw was just sorry, Adam. And I'm like, what's happened?
Yeah, I
And then I
know.
see a tweet say something else about like Sapkowski, and I'm like,
Oh
oh
man.
no.
Uh,
And then I saw it was out. I'm like, God damn it. There it is. Oh yeah, Connor Bedard though. Whew. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Hybrid Eye's gonna look good.
They're gonna have to permanently play 70. Matheson will get hurt again. He's back, eh?
Oh, is he? That's good.
Not for long,
So
I bet though. God damn it. Oh, it's tough, man. It's tough.
that's okay.
I
Isn't
mean, it's better than January last year when half the roster was filled with COVID.
that is true. That
Yeah.
that is true. I think like of
Remember when Brandon Baddock got called up, played one game, then got COVID? That was funny.
wasn't he
Him, I
was he
don't
from
mean
the ECHL, or
he
was
was.
that a different
I
guy?
think he was in the AHL, no, but they
Oh,
had Cam
there
Hillis play, who was in the.
ECHL. I think, I mean, obviously they'll, all those injuries suck, especially because some of them could have been useful. Might have traded Jonathan Drouin. I don't know.
Well, he'll be back after the All Star break. He'll be. You can still trade him.
Okay, you can still trade him. I think Slafkovsky, the thing is obviously the worst one of all of them, but
No.
more so, obviously you're not going to trade him, but more so from a development perspective, where everyone was having the debate about where he's going to play, and now you have your answer, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, he's not playing.
Is I guess my question is Laval having a good year?
No,
Oh, because
no.
I was going to say he comes, like, by the time he comes back, we're looking at middle of March. Just send him right back to send him right down to the AHL.
They will
Could
not.
be
They're
on a
not
playoff
making the
run.
playoffs.
Okay,
No.
never mind. It was a good
There could be a
thought.
play in Laval are probably not going to make,
Uh,
which
that's
is annoying.
unfortunate.
They were supposed to be better this year, but
Yeah, that's
um,
unfortunate.
good at least. Good at least. I'm still not convinced Rajon will. Not Rajon. That's his
Ray
dad.
Jagul.
No, no, no. Rajon will. His son, Jean Francois will. French's names in the organization. Oh god. Kent Hughes did speak today though.
I didn't get to watch it. What did he say?
It wasn't anything too thingy, too crazy. I will say this. So obviously, Darren Dreger earlier this week said that the preliminary talks began a month ago with Caulfield and the Habs, and he was asked about it, and Ken Hughes said basically, "I'm not going to be transparent about negotiations." Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's a complete opposite of what's going on in
Not
Vancouver.
not even just the GM, but it's like yeah, he's a player. He was an agent. I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah.
Which has worried some fans, but it's like I don't care. I mean, if they screw it up, then God help me. But I doubt they will. Um, Beside that, I'm just trying to think. It wasn't the most. He did sort of give their own explanation as to why they wanted Slafkovsky in the NHL. Apparently, they would either have weekly or like bi-weekly discussions about it, and they just don't think it's the best thing. And I really like listening to Kent Hughes talk about his philosophies of the game and how he talks about development and how unique cases for different players and stuff like that, right? And he specifically mentioned the North American game. And then when you start thinking about stuff like NHL pacing and that, Alex, I still can't say for sure if he should be in the AHL anymore. I've just been going so much back and forth because I want to trust this team so much. And Ken Hughes mentioned right now, the thing of, and this is something Adam Nicholas has mentioned, their guy who's part of player development. about like not having to think about when you're playing the game, right? And just going off instincts and like
Hmm.
you wonder can that only be developed in the NHL and that. And I'm just so scarred from Bergevin. I still think it's ridiculous to compare it to the Kotkaniemi stuff. I really do think it is because I think there's so many different philosophical things there. Like this is a team who's in like seventh last, and they're like blasting music after they beat the Jets. Like there's such a different atmosphere around the team. Like it's just one of those things where you try and have a concrete your own opinion, but man, I don't know. And what's so frustrating is here's the bad part about his injury, and the same with Jonathan Drouin, right? They were starting to put some games together where they looked like they were getting some confidence back. Like say Dodonov's got that luckily, and but that it's just like
Hey, don't forget about Mike Hoffman's 2 goal game last night.
that was Dodonov. Hoffman had
Oh, oh,
a snipe. Man, it was a beautiful shot.
it
But
was.
it's just sort of like I think it's obviously it's healthy to question people, but at some point it's like, can I just sit here and relax? Can I trust you with this player? I'm too hurt by the past, Alex.
Join the club. But when you say like you brought up philosophical changes between the two management groups, and I'd say like you brought up the playing music in the dressing room after beating the Jets while in seventh last in the division. And like I think people it's been accepted because no one thought they were going to be a good team this year. Like this was the plan. Whereas under Bergevin, there was no acceptance to be bad. It was we're gonna try to be good and try to make a run, even though there was times where it's like you probably should just commit to something that's not
You know what?
mediocrity.
You know what stands out to me, Alex, as you're mentioning that is, do you remember that episode of Agent Provocateur when Max Pacioretty was on? You saying
Yep.
what bad days when you're in Montreal, like you're sitting there with the boys and you're complaining about the weather and the construction, which someone who lived in Montreal when all that comes together, it's not fun. And how miserable it can be. And you think of right now in Montreal, this is not a good hockey team. Um, but the message is so understood that they're still enjoying coming to the rink. Like, I think that's important for development, man. It's not even just a thing of like, listen, you can have the argument about like the lack of production being a problem in that, and to the organization, it's not at least. Um, but like by the end of it, Kotkaniemi didn't want to stay, and they went to the finals. Like because there was such a thing of they didn't trust how they developed him. There's a good relationship, and we talked about earlier this year, Kent Hughes and speculating maybe he doesn't want to upset Slafkovsky. I'm wondering if I misinterpreted a thing of like I should trust the GM who was an agent and whole thing was basically taking care of players and understanding not their wants but their needs as people. That's a big difference I think you can see so far. Is like you shouldn't hate being a Montreal Canadian. And you see guys leave and they're always like, "Oh, it's so fun here." The fans are this, whatever, whatever. But it's different. Like it's something special going to work and enjoying it instead of just oh
Mm-hmm.
god, gotta go. Oh god, we got Tampa tonight. Solid 4-1 loss going to come up here. It's just again, there are clearly good steps and is production everything? No, but God, you'd love to see a bit more. You know what I mean? It's just it's testing my faith in them, not in a bad way. You know what I mean? I'm not completely upset with them,
Yeah,
but
because there's no matter what, there is no guarantee of success. Like there's nothing is 100%. And like I think this goes with any team. I'm not just we're talking about Montreal, so I'm singling out Montreal, but they have this cupboard of prospects, right? Who aren't in the NHL yet or not in the AHL yet. There is no guarantee of success for any of them. Right? Like that's always going to be a thing, no matter team, no matter management group, no matter organization, whatever. No guarantee of success.
so Eric Engels actually asked Jack Hughes, "What do you think of your guys outside of Montreal?" And he's like, "I think we have a good thing here, but he's like, and he said the same thing. He's like, until they play in the NHL, there's no guarantee.
Yep.
And it's just I would really encourage people to just like you listen to Kent Hughes talk, and it doesn't feel like he's trying to BS you. The Habs the Habs Reddit page, like they have a Twitter account, right? It's pretty funny. And they were going on. It's so nice to actually watch the GM have a conversation, and you can clearly tell he doesn't want to kill every reporter in the room like Mark Bergevin did. Like when Arpin Basu and the way he asks questions, how he stretches it out, you could tell by Bergevin's face he wanted to fight the dude. But
Yeah.
with Hughes, it's just sort of like he's patient. He'll pause to answer his questions. I enjoy listening to Kent Hughes talk.